Assalamu alaikum dear students, this is Qamar Sumaira from the Department of English, University of Southern Punjab, Multan. Well, today we are going to start a new topic with new meanings in our given text, and that text is quite a new for you, like use of poetic features as stylistic individuality in a text. So it means what? It does mean that why a poem is a poem, why poetry is having a distinctive feature than that of the narration one. Poetic features in stylistic analysis are specific, like the literary techniques of a text, metaphors, alliteration, imagery, rhyme, whatever we have discussed previously in our previous lectures. In poetic features, we have something different than that of the different levels of analysis as well. If you remember, the different levels of stylistic analysis carries the phonological level to be started. We haven't discussed this one level so far. It is there to understand how it creates meaning, mood and emphasis in poetry. And phonological feature has its own contents to explore. A stylistic analysis identifies these devices such as the rhythm and rhyme of a poem in your poetic feature at phonological level and explains their effect on the reader's interpretation of the poem's themes and its content or a message. So it means the poet's intention is given through the theme in the form of the rhyme or the rhyming scheme it is creating in some poetry. Poetic features and examples in stylistic analysis are many more when we talk about the literary text. So stylistic analysis involves examining a poem through various linguistic levels to find and interpret poetic features. What is phonological feature, or what are the phonological features that may contribute at the phonological level? What the stylistician is expected to explore the different features at phonological level. The very first one is the alliteration. It is the repetition of the same initial consonant sound in a series of words. I would repeat, it is the repetition of the same initial consonant sound in a series of words. So it means at a close proximity. For example, a very common one, Peter Piper picked a pack of picked peppers. Isn't it a tongue twister? Yes, it seems to be so. Why? The repeating consonant sound pa creates an audible pulse for sure and emphasis on the sound like pa sound. Another feature is assonance, and we know it is the repetition of vowel sounds within words in a line of poetry. So it means in a single line we measure what kind of vowel sound is repeating again and again. For example, in the line, the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Rain, Spain and plain. The repeating a sound connects the words and adds musicality in the given line. Important? Yes, important feature for the reason it is memorized by the author when it is read so. Onomatopoeia, that's pia. That's also the word that imitates the sound of some object and describes its nature. For example, the buzzing bee. The word buzzing creates the sound of a bee, like buzz. Remember, that is your onomatopoeia. Another phonological feature is rhyme scheme. It is created through a consistent pattern of rhyming words at the end of each line in a poetry. So it means it is a consistency of a poet that he creates the rhythm through rhyme scheme. The example could be that rhyming scheme can be measured as A, B, B, C, C in the nursery rhyme, like Mary had a little lamb, creates a memorable and song-like quality. Same is the case with Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, A, and then the next two lines with BB. Lexical and semantic features would be created through the word choice and the meaning to be created in the given line, and it is through the use of, because we are talking about this meaning, so it means semantic level. And for semantics we have metaphor, that is an implicit comparison between the two unlike objects by stating one as the other. So like for example, the world is a stage. The famous Shakespearean line, this compares life to a theoretical performance. A simile in the same line, it is a comparison the two unlike objects by the use of words like or as. And the example could be in the line, her smile was as bright as the sun. This directly comparison is the simile that brings the brilliance or that brings the shining of a sun with the quality of a female. Imagery is another one of the device we have read in our previous lectures, that is the language that appeals to the senses, 5 senses to be approached, creating a picture or feeling in the reader's mind. Which 5 senses? For example, your hearing, your eyesight, your smell, your taste and your touch. For example, the ice, wind, whipped mountains. This evokes a cold, harsh sensory experience when we talk about the coldness of some mountain to be bring into our imagination. Personification is another choice by the writer by the use of semantic choice as giving human quality to a non-human object. For example, the stars danced in the sky. This gives the human action of dancing to the stars. So, it becomes personified idea for the stars. And then the third one could be at the syntactic level or the syntactic feature of a text as in given poetry. The choice could be anaphora. It is the repetition of a word or a phrase at the beginning of successive clauses or sentences. And we have taken the example of I have a dream. I have a dream. Martin Luther King's speech is an example of the use of the phrase again and again in his speech, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will be where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. So, at the end or in the beginning, it creates a rhythm when it is repeated in the narration like a poetry. Use of directive verbs are there. It does mean the action verbs, the invitation, the commands. These are the verbs like for example, listen, look, run and sing in a poem that can create a sense of urgency or participation or the action to be brought into reader's mind. Another one level is your graphological feature, that is the visuality given in the text. It means these are the features which brings your text to an original shape in which it should be read. It is the use of word or the word usage. It means the specific choices of words including jargons, colloquialism and formal use of language. Capitalization is also another factor, and we know that in poetry the first word of each line is always capitalized. It is the use of capital letters that can indicate emphasis on a particular type of speech in the given poetry. It means not all the words are capitalized, but whatever the word within the line is capitalized, it would be having its own effect and meaning in the given line. Punctuation is very important, that brings the emotions or the placement or the type of the different punctuation marks bring its own meaning. For example, commas, full stops, dashes, interjection marks can affect the rhythm and flow of the poem as well. Now, there would be a question how stylistic analysis works out. Definitely, it is done by identifying all the given levels as I just have discussed. It identifies and pinpoints specific literary devices or stylistic choices in the poem. It also describes and explains how the devices are used and their effect on the language. So, it means not only the words and the metrical use of the language is concerned, but also what kind of words are affecting the audience by the use of concise language. It analyzes and determines the purpose of the device which creates emphasis, which evokes certain mood or emotion, and for sure reinforces some theme. So, to discuss all of these features, it may be concluded that all features collectively explain how the definite features contribute to the overall meaning and impact of the poem, which creates the individuality in poetic style. But still, there are many more things which can be explored at phonological level, because rhyme, rhythm has its own foot and meter to be explored. It's also the definite wording that we can explore. Our next lecture covers the example of stylistic analysis of a poem as a reference for you, so that you may analyze any chunk or any poetic chunk by using the same parameters. But for sure, the phonological feature would be given in detail, for the reason that the poetic features for sure contain most of the part of the analysis to be explored at phonological level. Although semantic, figurative language, graphological level, graphetics, all are to be explored at contextual level, at word level, at syntactic level as well. But what is more important in poem, that what kind of rhyming scheme a poem can have. Then what are the rhyming effects are given. We will be discussing that what kind of rhymes we have. We have end rhyme, we have internal rhyme, and end rhyme is like I have just discussed in the twinkle twinkle little star, how I wonder what you are. The last word of each line would be your end rhyme, and if the rhyme lies within the given line, that becomes your internal rhyme. Like if I just slightly change up above the world so high to a line, up above the sky so high, that becomes the internal with end rhyme combination. So it becomes that how the internal rhyme is created within the given line. We also have explained in the form of rain, plain, stain, like this one. So these all create collectively the poetic feature or the poetic effect in the given text. This is all how we have discussed the different levels at poetic level to be explored of a feature of a text for stylistic analysis. Next lecture will be surely in our depth study to explore what are the different poetic features a poem can have. Till that time, stay blessed, have a nice day.